I, 19 female, have two stepbrothers named Dave, 23, and Jack, 25. I have one half-brother who's a tween. Growing up with them was honestly a nightmare. I don't get along with them or their mother, my stepmom. My mom died before they came into our lives, so she's the only mother figure I've ever had. It'd be a lot to get into, but in general, they bullied and teased me from the moment I met them. Their mom played favorites quite a lot, and I would get disciplined for little things like leaving a light on while their sons lived in absolute filth and didn't shower for weeks. I was forced to get a job at 15, while my stepbrothers were allowed to live at home rent-free with no job or college. I moved out last year to stay at my step-aunt's stepmom's sister. Almost everything I make goes to rent a room from her, and I still contribute to chores and housekeeping for parts of the house that I'm not even allowed to use. Staying with her and still within my family's control is the only way they would let me keep in touch and see my little brother, whom I practically raised. They use him to threaten me whenever I do something they disapprove of. I went on a weekend trip with friends a few hours away. When I returned, I realized that my entire family was waiting for me on the couch. Older brother, stepmom, and my dad, all just sitting there waiting for me to walk in the door. When I did, they started yelling at me and telling me that I'd turned my location off and they couldn't text me because I ignored them. And how dare I tell my friends not to respond? Yes, they found and harassed my friends. The whole argument turned into them following me to my room. When I opened the door, I saw the entire thing was trashed. 3-day-old food, rotten bowls, plates, and old pizza boxes all piled up on my bed, which had been stripped of its sheets and were utterly bare. Dirty clothes and trash everywhere. It didn't smell nice. I lost my crap at that point because I knew the stuff was my stepbrother's. When I asked why it was in there, they said they let him and his friends play D&D and sleep there because they were in a rough spot, and boys just get rowdy sometimes. Let it stand that I have OCD, which I've learned to manage myself, but the fact that they allowed my stepbrother and his friends to trash my room, knowing that it would make the whole thing a biohazard for me, speaks volumes. I slammed the door in their faces, grabbed my essentials, and left. I haven't spoken to any of them since, but now they're accusing me of leaving my aunt without necessary income and overreacting. I responded by posting their text to me online. Somehow, the pictures found their way to my stepmom's boss. It's a very small town, and they're threatening to review her employment due to it. Am I the idiot for exposing my family and possibly costing my stepmom her job? Not the idiot. What they're doing is abusive, both emotionally and financially. Her employers don't need an idiot like her associated with their company. Frankly, it'd be embarrassing. Your father isn't innocent either. He bears the blame too, if not more. You're his child. He should have been protecting you and he didn't. OP needs to spread those photos further around town, public libraries, bus stops, and church bulletin boards. Share the love, OP, and let everyone see them for what they are. The cherry on top is that OP was renting that room. OP is entitled to tenant rights like privacy. I hope Aunt's account hits zero without OP's contributions. Your so-called family deserves the social shaming and real-life consequences for their neglect and abuse of you. You need to take care of yourself, far away from these people. Your stepmonster may lose her job over how poorly she and your family treat you. Good. It's gratifying to know that there are decent people around that are disgusted by how horribly you've been treated. You will be the idiot to yourself if you go back there. Put them in your past and make a new life for yourself without them. Exactly. Sweetheart, I'm so sorry you've had to deal with this. Your family are horrible people. You are not responsible for your aunt needing income. You've been their Cinderella. Now it's time to find your happily ever after. There are people who will love you and care about you in this world. You're strong. Look how you handled your OCD. Explain things to your half-brother, that you love him and will always be there for him, but you have to leave because the way you're being treated isn't okay. Good luck. When my dad proposed to my mom, My paternal grandparents, aka Dad's parents, gave him a ring from their family to propose to Mom. My grandparents adored my mom and saw her as a daughter. They had 4 boys and wanted to welcome her to the family with the ring. She treasured it, and before she died, she and they had discussed my grandparents keeping it safe for me. After my mom died, my dad remarried. His second wife was upset that she wasn't offered the ring like my mom was. My grandparents explained that it was being kept safe for me, as the last owner had wanted her only child, aka me, to have it. My dad's wife came into the marriage with a daughter, just like Dad had me. I was 9 and she was 7. We're now 22, me, and her 20. My stepsister got engaged a few weeks ago. Her boyfriend proposed without a ring because he wanted her to pick one out. She decided to ask Dad if she could have the family engagement ring. He asked my grandparents and they said no. His wife told my grandparents it might not be for me, but the ring would still be going to their granddaughter. They said it was not the granddaughter it was intended for, and my stepsister was not my mom's daughter. Therefore, she would not be entitled to it, and my mom would have hated to see it go to my stepsister. When speaking to my grandparents failed, my dad and his wife approached me. My stepsister was upset that they didn't overrule what my mom wanted. She has some abandonment issues. Her dad abandoned her. Neither side of her biological family wanted her, and my grandparents and uncles are the only extended family she's ever had. Still, she always felt like they favored me because of how much they loved my mom and how often they spoke about her and about us, me and my mom. Them turning her down really got her down, so my dad and his wife wanted me to make it up to her and wanted me to take the ring and then give it to her. My dad said it would mean so much to my stepsister, and while it would mean that I wouldn't get the ring, I could still get another ring, and it would make a family member happy. His wife said that they had both lived in my mom's shadow from day one, and this could be a time when they're not treated as secondary to my mom. She said her daughter always adored me and never saw me as a stepsister, and it hurt her that I never saw her as a sister. She said I could do this and make her feel loved, like she deserves. I refused to give my stepsister the ring, and my dad and his wife told me I was being selfish and hurtful. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm confused about why your stepmom and stepsister are so invested in receiving this ring when they have no connection to it. The ring belonged to your mother, and she made it clear she would be handing it down to you. How bizarre that either of them would insist on taking that away from you. And it's even weirder that your father would go along with them. You've already answered them, and you need to stand your ground on this. There's no reason for them to guilt you into giving up something that has so much sentimental value to you, simply because they decided they should have it instead of you. They see it as a connection to my dad's line. I think it bothers his wife that my mom was loved and given a ring and trusted to decide what would happen next, and she feels like her daughter's being treated unfairly. I think my stepsister views it as a symbol that she's their real granddaughter as much as I am and wants to feel like they don't see us differently. Yep, it's a power play by your stepmother. She's determined to get a victory over a dead woman. Unfortunately, her daughter's caught in the middle and may have had her head filled by her mother. Tell your father that if it matters that much to him, he can buy her a ring, but you won't be handing over the heirloom that your mother left you to appease your stepmother's insecurity. 6 years ago, my HOA decided our neighborhood was boring and encouraged people to come up with ideas and activities to liven things up. Thus, my Pup Olympics was born. It's just the neighborhood dogs competing poorly in different silly events for 2 days and being rewarded with treats. Early on, there would be prizes for the owners of whichever dog won each event, and it was all fun and games. After a couple of years, we started doing a paid entry for each event, and the money went toward cash prizes and a donation to a great local animal shelter where lots of us got our pups. It's worth noting that most people in the neighborhood choose to donate their cash prize toward the shelter fund, so we usually come up with a pretty great donation. People look forward to the Olympics every year. It's ridiculous, but it's fun, and we all love it. 18 months ago, a new neighbor moved in, and she has a poodle who frequently competes in and wins dog competitions. This dog has 1 million followers on Instagram. We all follow the page and root for this dog in the competitions. No issue with the dog itself. However, it ruined the Pup Olympics last year. This dog swept every single competition. There was literally one event for senior dogs that it didn't qualify for, and that's the only one that this poodle didn't win. We all just stood there for 2 days and gave cash prizes to the same woman for every event. To make matters worse, she also didn't donate a single extra penny to the shelter fund. Bonus, am I the idiot for if I'm wrong for being judgy here? But this has taken an event for families and kids and turned it into something it was never meant to be. It's like having a professional athlete compete at a high school field day. So the Pup Olympics are happening soon, but this year, my committee decided on the no competition dogs rule to make it more fair for the other owners and families. The poodle owner got notice of this and has gone ballistic. Our HOA had a committee meeting and decided in her favor that we couldn't exclude her or her dog if we wanted to have the competition in the neighborhood. I thought about it and then went ahead and sent a cancellation notice. Somebody from the HOA board tried to pull it back together, but just isn't getting much interest. Now the poodle owner has sent me multiple vindictive messages implying that I did this to hurt her personally, and the neighborhood is split 50-50 on who's in the wrong. So am I the idiot for changing the rules and canceling our neighborhood Pup Olympics to exclude a professional show dog, which put the neighborhood in shambles? Edit, to clarify, deciding to cancel was more of a long story short after 4 days of meeting with this woman to try to come up with something agreeable. First, I offered to do a couple of categories for more serious competition dogs, but was told by the HOA that I'm not allowed to host any kind of events that make it seem like any part of this is a real dog competition. Then I tried to restrict how many events each dog can enter, and she wanted that number to be 8. Out of 10 events, she wanted 8. That was the number she got the HOA board to agree with her on, and they basically told me that if I couldn't let that happen, then I couldn't host the competition. Not the idiot. She took all the cash and prizes and kept them to herself. It's her choice, but if it's known this is a fun event with proceeds going to a worthy cause, it sucks that the whole thing was canceled. But I don't think you're wrong. If it's that important, then someone else can plan it. Wow, she's greedy. Has 1 million followers, and she can't make a post about the shelter at least? Screw that lady and her poodle. If you race neighborhood kids and an Olympic gold medalist runner showed up to enter, that'd be an idiot move. This is no different. And the fact that the owner can't understand why her precious shouldn't be allowed to dominate the amateur competitions shows a huge lack of awareness. Right? Poodle Patty shows up and ruins the fun, so the response is to cancel the event for everyone instead of just limiting Poodle Patty? Way to let the jerks go unchecked. I, female 24, think this is weird, but both my sister 26 and fiance male 27 are saying it's not, and I want a third party. Basically, my fiance works out every weekday after work from 6:30 to 7:30ish, and I always knew he had a workout partner. I just assumed it was one of his friends. Then on Friday, we were chatting while I started on dinner, and he got ready to go, and I mentioned that I had a book I wanted my sister to read because I know she likes reading, and my fiance was like, "Give it to me, I'll give it to her." And I was obviously like, "What?" And he got uncomfortable, like he started saying he should probably go and all. But I asked him why he said that, and he said that it wasn't a big deal, but my sister is his workout partner. I thought that was weird, especially since he's never told me about this. He said they just happened to go to the same gym, and it became a thing. He said I'm overreacting. Am I? I don't think I am. It's weird. I mean, if I was working out with his brother, he'd think it was weird. I don't want to be like an annoying, jealous girlfriend, but it rubs me the wrong way. I can see why my sister never told me since I don't see her much, Plus, she literally never tells anyone anything. But my fiancé? I live with him. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. The fact that neither your sister nor fiancé thought to mention it to you that they were workout partners is a red flag here. I see how you got upset. Something feels sneaky about them not being open with you on this. To be fair to my sister, she's always been private her whole life. She didn't even tell us when she got into law school. She said she forgot. We, my parents and I, only found out because my fiancé, who was my boyfriend at the time, is a law student too, and happened to mention it offhandedly. Wait a minute. So the only reason you found out that your sister and fiancé know each other and have known each other since law school is because your fiancé accidentally mentioned it? And had it not been for your fiancé being a loose-lipped idiot, you'd never have known that they knew each other since law school and worked out regularly together? Are there any other areas of her life that you only find out about because your fiancé happens to momentarily forget you're not as close to her as he is? The red flags are painting their town red. It's pretty clear that they will have a relationship after OP, considering how close they seem to have been for quite some time. OP, whether they've slept or not, is beside the point. He's obviously seeing her behind your back and is emotionally cheating at the very least. Yeah, this was my thinking too. Does the sister even know that the OP is with this guy? It sounds like the sister knew the fiancé way before OP got with him. OP, your soon-to-be husband, knows more about your sister's life than you and your parents? So she isn't private with your fiancé. I think that says a lot. Please boil some noodles with all this marinara. I, 26 female, have a sister who's 2 years older than me. My fiancé is a 30-year-old male. We were raised in a liberal home where we were allowed to wear anything or nothing at home. My sisters always dressed very skimpily, and I didn't mind because I was used to it at home. But this time I feel a certain way because my wedding will be next year, and my sister, who's also one of the bridesmaids, has shown me what she intends to wear. I was shocked, to say the least. The dress shows clearly that she's not wearing a bra or panties because it has a slit up to her waist, and her back and chest are barely covered. I'm uncomfortable with her being around other people, especially my fiancé and his family, looking like that. My parents see nothing wrong with her outfit. I told her that if she didn't find a different, more decent dress, she would no longer be one of the bridesmaids and is not invited to my wedding anymore. She feels that I'm being unfair, since I have no right to control what people wear, and I also let all bridesmaids choose whatever design they wanted, as long as they stuck to the colors I gave. Her chosen color sticks to the color scheme, and that's okay, but the design makes me feel it's inappropriate. I don't want my sister flashing my guest, but she called me an idiot when I disinvited her. Now she and my parents are not talking to me. My fiancé said he had no opinion on it and would go with what I decided. Am I the idiot for telling my sister to change her dress and wear underwear? Or she's not welcome to my wedding? And this is just one reason why people elope. OP, put your foot down that your sister will not be dressing like she's attending an MTV Music Awards show, or she will not be in your wedding. Because you're the bride, and in this case, you can control what your bridal party and even guests wear. Even if your parents aren't talking to you or don't even attend, you can still get married, and your sister can be disinvited if she doesn't behave. While she is allowed to dress however she wants, you're allowed to say who comes to your wedding. Just boot the drama princess from the wedding now. She would be the type to show you a conservative dress, then waltz up the aisle in her underwear. Yep, sis is an attention-seeking drama queen. It's best if she doesn't attend, and OP should appoint a bouncer to keep her from trying to crash the wedding, proudly dressed in her streetwalker outfit, looking for more attention. Honey, she wants to upstage you on your big day. Her dress would end up being the talking point at your wedding. Not acceptable.